Okay, imagine this. Two of, really the biggest names in Major League Soccer, global icons like Lionel Messi, Jordi Alba, right? Benched for a massive game.
Yeah,
But not because of an injury, not a red card, but because of a league rule. It almost sounds, well, kind of made up, doesn't it?
it really does. But yeah, this was very real. Happened just recently, and it all spun out of them missing the 2025 MLS All-Star Game.
Exactly. And that's what we're jumping into today. This deep dive will unpack that specific MLS rule, the one that led to these one-match bans. We'll look at why they were actually enforced, check out the pretty strong reactions from everyone involved, and see what happened immediately on the pitch.
Right.
So the goal here is to give you, the listener, a really clear, quick understanding of how all this stuff connects to the rules, looking after players, how the league runs things, all based on the latest reports and official statements.
So you get the whole story, yeah, nice and clear without wading through everything yourself.
Perfect. So let's set the scene. To really get the fallout, we need to go back a step. What exactly did Messi and Alba do, or maybe not do, that kicked this whole thing off?
Yeah, it's fundamental, pretty simple. Both guys picked for the All-Star Game in Austin, right? They just didn't go.
Okay.
And the absolutely crucial part, they skipped it without getting the green light from the league beforehand. No official, okay.
And the rule itself, was there any wiggle room, any ambiguity about missing the All-Star game?
No, not really. The MLS regulations are super clear on this. It basically says, look, players who miss the All-Star Game without permission become ineligible for their next club match. Simple as that.
Wow, so it's just like an automatic trigger.
Exactly. It's meant to be a direct, automatic consequence. No ifs, ands, or buts.
So the moment they missed it without permission, that one-game suspension was basically locked in for both of them.
That's it. One game each.
Yeah.
Meant they had to sit out Inter Miami's game against FC Cincinnati. That was Saturday, July 26th. And what's really striking is how final it was.
Yeah.
Like you said, automatic under the policy. And crucially, there's no way to appeal it.
No appeals. That is a hard line.
It really is. And it just, highlights how strictly MLS enforces these rules.
Yeah.
Even when you're talking about absolute global superstars like Messi and Alba.
Yeah, no kidding. So given the rules so clear-cut, why did Inter Miami, make that call? The club decided to sit them out, right? Knowing this could happen. What was their thinking?
Well, based on what's come out, the club's reasoning was all about managing their players, player welfare, strategy.
Okay.
For Messi, the issue was fatigue. He played, I think, 9 games in just 36 days. That's a packed schedule.
Wow, yeah.
So Inter Miami rested him. And Jordi Alba, he was also held back. There was a concern about a recent injury. So it was very much a decision, protect the assets, basically.
Okay, protecting their players. But obviously that didn't fly with the league, hence the bans. How did the club bosses react? I think someone called the ruling draconian.
Yeah, the reaction was, let's just say, not quiet. Inter Miami co-owner Jorge Mas, he was the one who publicly called the suspension draconian. Very strong word.
Definitely.
And he really hammered the point that it was the club that made the call, not the players deciding to skip it on their own. Mas also complained about what he felt was unfair scheduling pressure, pointed out they had 5 MLS games packed into just 48 hours right after the All-Star Game.
5 games in 2 days. That's intense.
Yeah, he argued that pressure made the situation way worse.
And the coach, Javier Mascherano, he chimed in too, right? Didn't he sort of question the league's motives a little?
He did, yeah. Mascherano brought up an interesting point. He specifically asked, would this rule have been enforced so strictly if the next game was away, not at home?
Suggesting maybe it's about ticket sales, revenue?
That seemed to be the implication, yeah. That maybe the decision was influenced by the money involved in a home game rather than just applying the rule consistently across the board.
That adds another layer, doesn't it? Raises questions about what's really driving things. So you've got the club saying, player welfare, crazy schedule, and the league saying, rules are rules. How did the commissioner, Don Garber, handle this delicate situation?
Well, Commissioner Garber, he definitely acknowledged how huge Messi is for MLS. I mean, nobody disputes that.
Right.
He described actually enforcing the rule as, quote, a very difficult decision. But he stood firm on the need for consistency. The rules have to apply to everyone.
So upholding the integrity of the league's rules, basically.
That was the message, yeah. Maintaining consistency was key from their perspective.
But did he hint at anything changing? Like maybe they'd look at this rule again down the line?
He did, actually. Garber mentioned that The league might review the rule, maybe work with the Players Association on it going forward.
Okay, so there's some movement there.
Yeah, MLS basically said they're committed to reevaluating the whole All-Star participation rule.
Right.
So they might adjust it, clarify the policy for future seasons.
Yeah.
This whole episode could definitely be a catalyst for change, it seems.
Interesting. So, okay, the suspension stuck. The players sat out. How did that actually play out on the field? What happened in that Cincinnati game without Messi and Alba?
Well, the impact was pretty clear. Inter Miami ended up drawing 0-0 at home against Cincinnati.
0-0, even at home.
Yep. And it wasn't for lack of trying statistically. They had like 13 shots, controlled the ball most of the time, 57% possession, pass. Well, 88% accuracy, got 5 corners.
But just couldn't finish.
Exactly. Couldn't find the back of the net without their main guys.
Ouch. And I heard things got even more frustrating. Something about the refereeing.
Oh, yeah. Reports say the frustration just got worse because of some controversial calls or non-calls.
Oh.
Apparently, there were 2 penalty shouts for Miami that VAR, the video ref didn't intervene on.
Yeah.
And they also had a goal disallowed. So, yeah, on top of missing Messi and Alba, the team probably felt pretty hard done by with some key decisions going against them.
Yeah, that really paints a picture. Missing stars, feeling like the calls aren't going your way. Tough night.
Definitely compounds the issue. Really shows the immediate knock-on effect of those suspensions. Not just losing the players, but maybe impacting morale and focus too.
Okay, so as we kind of wrap this up, thinking about everything that the rule, why the club did what they did, the league's stance, what happened in the game, what's the one thing that really jumps out? Maybe something that challenges how you might initially think about this.
I think, for me, it's just how absolutely rigid that MLS rule proved to be. Even though the club made the decision, and it was based on legitimate concerns, Messi's heavy workload, Alba's injury, and even considering who these players are.
Right, global icons.
Exactly. The league just didn't budge. The suspension was automatic, end of story. It really drives home that, right now at least, that rule is enforced without exception, no matter the backstory. There might be talk about reviewing it later, but in the moment, the consequence was unavoidable.
Yeah, that's a stark takeaway. This whole deep dive really highlights that tension, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The league needing its rules and, the integrity of events like the All-Star Game versus the club needing to manage players, keep them healthy, especially with these crazy schedules.
Precisely. And it really leaves a big question hanging, one for you listening to think about. In today's sports world, which is getting more and more demanding, how do leagues find that balance?
Right.
Balancing the prestige of things like All-Star games with, what we now understand about player welfare, the strain on players and the pressure clubs are under to protect their biggest stars.
Yeah. What does this whole incident suggest for the future? How will player rest versus league duties get negotiated down the road in pro sports?
It's a fascinating question. This situation really throws it into sharp relief, something to definitely keep an eye on.